If your halal business makes most of its money during Ramadan and then revenue drops after it, you don't have a business, you have a seasonal booth. And the reason you're losing money isn't because the market is dried up. It's because nobody knows you exist outside of Ramadan. Let me show you why personal brands are the difference between surviving Ramadan to Ramadan and building something that actually scales. Here's what's happening in the halal business right now. Ramadan hits, demand is high, everyone's looking for halal food, Islamic charities, stoves, you name it. Your business posts more, you post a few ads and you make a lot of money, right? And you think to yourself, all right, we made it this year. Then Ramadan ends and the silence is deafening. Your post gets a third of its engagement. Your DMs dry up, your sales dry up. And you're sitting there wondering like, where did everyone go? But here's the reality. They didn't go anywhere. They just stopped seeing you. Because you were only visible when the algorithm was in your favor and the demand was already high. The rest of the year, you're running a business with no face, no voice, and you're wondering like, why does nobody remember me? The problem is that when people think about halal businesses in your category, they don't think about you, they think about the people that showed up consistently. Whoever built a personal brand, whoever made themselves impossible to ignore, even when Ramadan wasn't carrying the traffic. And this is where the deen meets the strategy. In Surah Al-Baqarah, it says that spend in the way of Allah and do not throw yourselves into destruction. That ayah isn't just about charity, it's about stewardship. It's about not being negligent with what Allah has entrusted to you. And if Allah has given you a halal business, a business that serves the Muslim community with something good, and that's something that's needed, then letting that business become invisible is a form of negligence. The Prophet ﷺ didn't serve people during the sacred months. He was known, he was present, he was always consistent. People knew where to find him and they knew what he stood for because he had already built that relationship through consistent, visible service. And that's what a personal brand is. It's not about fame, it's not about ego, it's about being consistently present so that when these months go, people still remember your face, people still know what you stood for. And that's amana, that's itqan. That's how you steward a business properly, by making sure the people who need you can actually find you. So here's what changes when you build a personal brand for your halal business. First, you stop being a logo and you become a person, because people don't buy from logos, they buy from people that they trust. And when the founder of a halal restaurant is showing up on Instagram 3 times a week, talking about the sourcing, the recipes, the why behind the menu, and talking with his staff, people remember that. When the CEO of an Islamic charity is posting every week about work on the ground, the stories of the people being served, bro, trust is built before the Ramadan campaign even starts. Second, you create top of mind awareness. Like when someone mentions charity, people usually remember Ali Banat or MATW project because of the associations that Ali Banat has created with his charity. So when people think about halal catering, about halal businesses, when they think of that, they should think of you. Not because you ran the most ads, it's because your face was the most visible. It's because you showed up consistently with value, with presence. And that only happens when there's a face and a voice attached to the brand itself. Third, you build distribution that you own. Essentially, what that means is, let's say Instagram changes the algorithm tomorrow, or if your account gets locked off, people will still search for your face, for your name, because you've built a personal brand that is much bigger than the platform itself. You've built an audience that actually knows who you are. So here's the move. Pick one platform. For most businesses, it's Instagram. Post 3 to 5 times a week, consistently showing behind the scenes, showing what you do, showing how you impact the ummah. Post case studies of customers that you've served and show people the human behind the business. You do that for 6 months and watch how people act when Ramadan comes around. You won't be starting from zero, you'll be showing up to an audience that is waiting for you, an audience that's already warm. So if you're running a halal business and after Ramadan you're sick and tired of revenue dropping, donations dropping, the answer isn't more ads, more posts. It's building a personal brand. It's you showing up consistently so people know who you are before they need what you sell. And if you're an Islamic charity leader or a Muslim entrepreneur, click the link in the bio. Essentially, it will give you the exact content framework that I use to help halal businesses build personal brands that actually convert after Ramadan 24/7, 12 months of the year. Because after Ramadan, you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be spending so much money on ads. You just need to be consistent with intention, with itqan.